And we start off with the Cabinet Secretary of the Ministry of Interior, Kipchumba Murkomen, who has distanced himself from abductions of government critics and now wants his name struck out from 2 petitions filed against the state. Through advocates Danstan Omari and Sam Nyaberi, Murkomen, the CS, said he did not sanction the abductions, neither does he know anything about them. Murkomen was named alongside the Inspector General of Police and the Attorney General as respondents in the case where Okiom Tata and the Law Society of Kenya had moved to court seeking to have state agencies produce 7 youth who are allegedly abducted by security agencies.
His Excellency the President granted them the financial autonomy. The Constitution grants the police the operational autonomy and the command autonomy. Therefore, Kipchumba Murkomen is just being dragged into these petitions without any lawful or constitutional reasons or bearing to bring him on board.
The Inspector General of Police and the National Police Service, being the entity that is mandated to protect life and property, are also as a party in the petition. And there is a communication that was done yesterday by them indicating that they are investigating this matter and they are getting to the bottom of it so that they can know who is responsible for the abductions, where these abductees were kept all these days that they were out, and therefore it does not stay in the forte of the CS Interior to render any justification or explanation as to where the abductees were.
The CS will not sit, he will oversight and see that thorough investigations are conducted. Those who have abducted the young Kenyans, whether they are police officers, whether they are citizens, whether they are foreigners, they will face the full force of the Kenyan law. And the CS is determined that whoever committed an offense shall be held liable. Nobody is above the law, according to the CS for Interior.
So tomorrow we are coming to court to explain or to tell to the world why the CS Interior is not in this mix of abductions, and the ball has to stop somewhere and not in the docket of the CS Interior.
Yep. Danstan Omari, basically representing the CS Interior, Kipchumba Murkomen. We definitely need to see everybody who's been abducted released. I mean, this is not a story that is supposed to be connected to Kenya at a time like this, after going through everything we went through during the Moi regime and overcoming that. We shouldn't be going back to that kind of thing. Now, a section of legislators are calling for the formation of an independent public commission to investigate the rampant abduction of government critics. This is in the wake of last month's spate of abduction targeting youthful critics of President William Ruto and his administration, in which 5 of the victims were freed this week. Addressing the press, the 6 senators and 19 members of parliament expressed concern over the cases, as well as what they termed as politicization of the police, a resurgence of criminal groups, and the troubling specter of state capture within the country.
These gangs have been creating an atmosphere of fear, lawlessness among ordinary Kenyans and critics of the government. To address issues surrounding state capture, including the awarding of government contracts and affiliates within the government and rampant land grabbing, alongside issues misuse of public resources. These include examining extensive land grabbing currently underway in Ngurunga Farm in Kiambu constituency, Gikumari in Ruiru constituency, Dabibi in Naivasha constituency, Nakuru, Memorial Hospital, and many other acts of misuse of public trust, which threatens the integrity of our institutions and welfare of the Kenyan people. Parliamentary actions. We urge both the National Assembly and the Senate, and also all county assemblies across the nation to convene a special session during recess to discuss and conduct inquiries into these abductions and other pressing matters affecting the society. We, the undersigned legislators, believe that these investigations are essential to uphold the rule of law, protect human rights, restore public trust in our institutions, and safeguard Kenyans' democratic values. We stand in unwavering support of the information of this Independence Commission of Inquiry and demand swift, decisive actions to restore justice and security of our nation.
Yeah, this conversation should never stop until the habit stops. That plain and simple. And I'm so happy that, we are seeing religious leaders, we are seeing youthful people, and we are seeing legislators coming out and speaking against it, and people going to court to try and stop it. Now, a fresh strike is looming in the health sector following a 14-day ultimatum issued to the government by the Kenya Union of Clinical Officers, or KUCO, citing delayed implementation of the return to work agreement signed in September last year. Now, addressing journalists in Mombasa, KUCO officials, led by their national chairperson, Peterson Washira, also accused the Social Health Authority, or SHA, of discrimination. They claim that clinical officers have been blocked from offering services under the new health insurance model due to the failure of the Social Health Authority Board to recognize the health facilities registered by the Clinical Officers Council.
In light of the unresolved issues and lack of goodwill from the government and the responsible state agencies, the Kenya Union of Clinical Officers now make the following demands: immediate recognition and empanelment of all health care providers and facilities registered under the Clinical Officers Council in accordance with the law. Reinstatement of the pre-authorization right for clinical officers, including the specialized, under the Social Health Authority to provide services for all Kenyans.
The end of this strike was by a return to work agreement that was midwifed by the Employment, Labor and Labor Relations Court. And the same return to work agreement was registered by the Employment and Labor Relations Court, and by that it became an order of the court. But the ministry and the county governments have not fully implemented the return to work agreement, given that the deadline for implementation was the first day of September 2024. We have done numerous letters. They have refused to respond. And so we are saying they're in breach of the return to work agreement of the year 2024. And that is why we are here today to call them to account. And by that declare that we are calling for a strike in the next 14 days. That if then we do not have an end to the impunity in the Social Health Authority, and we do not have full implementation of the Return to Work Agreement of 2024, all the clinic officers under the 47 counties, under the Ministry of Health, under Kenyatta National Hospital, under KUTRH, under Madhari Hospital, under MTRH, shall proceed on strike as from the midnight of 19th January 2024.
This health and education sector have real issues, don't they? Now, 4 months after a deadly inferno claimed 21 lives at Hillside Endarasha Academy and a court injunction ordering the closure of the body facility, yesterday marked a fresh start for the school and the community around. The school, however, did not admit boarders for the first time following a decision by the proprietors to run the facility as a mixed-day junior and primary school. Now, just in case, you're like quite a number of people, you'd like to know exactly how you're going to plan out your economics, your monies this year, 2025. You want to make sure that you don't end up the way, or you want to make sure you end up better than you ended up in 2024. You need to stick around. I've spoken to some people who, when they think about their, excuse me, I'll need some water. When they think about their financial state in 2025, all they can see is what Kikuyu says, marundurundu, masters. They cannot see it clear. Don't worry. I got Bernard Ocheng, who's an economic expert and a person who can help you plan your finances and the way what you're going to invest, what you can invest it into to make sure that your 2025 financial status looks better. And he's going to be talking to us in a couple of minutes or so, maybe in the next 4 minutes or so. But first, let's check out what's happening in the dailies. The Daily Nation say, men who owe us answers. And you have Kipchumba Murkomen, the CS internal, and the IG Kanja there. Rising numbers of abduction has put security and criminal justice system leaders in the spotlight due to their delays and failure to prevent the enforced disappearance of government critics. Their actions and inaction have seen some right defenders initiate a court process to take the abduction cases to the International Criminal Court. Excuse me. Now, schools to wait longer for release of 48 billion capitation. And there you have the picture of John Mbadi, amejishika there, wondering, what in the world am I going to do? Then you have page 3, one of the young men, Billy Munyiri Mwangi, saying that I have forgiven my abductors. They dropped me in Nyeri, says Freed College student. And then the 4th page, you have life after cabinet. Ruto sacked ministers speak. Let me tell you what happens. The first thing is your phones go silent. The back page, school likely to wait longer for release of 48 billion shillings. That John Mbadi is saying. Then we have the Star newspaper. Ruto to hire 6,000 teachers in 3 years. Jobs are also lined up in the police and prison services, as well as in hospitals. Then you got President William Ruto in Ghana for the inauguration of the President Dramani Mahama as the Dramani Mahama, the president of Ghana. And then you also got a picture of Raila Odinga. Oops, I forgot to remove that thing and it made tarora. Then the third page, you have how Odede's calm but firm style helped her in activism. The 58-year-old human rights died on Friday after a short illness. That's pretty sad. Then the back page of the Star, tricky contest. Tusker to go top if they win Saturday's encounter. You'll need to get to read more on that so that you can know who they will be playing. Then we have, let me see, abductions. What does this man know? Inspector General Police Douglas Kanja is today expected to appear in court and explain the mysterious disappearances of young Kenyans. And should the country expect answers from the police boss? Well, I remember there was a time he said that he had no idea and he said he exempted his officers from what was happening. Just in case you wondered what happened is my babies back there had decided to go and freeze. Then you have youth tell of their journey to hell and back. We'll wait to hear what the Inspector General of Police is going to say today. I doubt he's even going to go to court. Then we have page 5, swindlers lure parents, students in KCSE exam grades, con game, and then administrators, traders reel from effects of missing Form 1 classes. And then the back page of the Standard, you got Van Dijk defends Trent as Reds keen to hit back at Tottenham. Ian Magar Seti. So in a couple of minutes we talk to Bernard. We find out exactly what you need to do to get your ching-chings in order in the year 2025. All that coming up shortly.